Hello, this is Tayson. Uh, I'm having sort of sore throat, but here's my submission to Bucker's video. This is not an official video, but this is in case any complications happen, and I would still have a submission. So, what's a hybrid? So, this is what I call, current name is V1 arthropod. There's the secondary version called V2, which will not be revealed yet. So, this is the general genome. So let's start with the base genome. The camel spider. So originally, Bakur, he originally recommended it to me. He said, okay, whatever, I could do that. And serves as the base genome. They live in desert environment, so you would probably expect I choose section C, which is correct. So the reason they're chosen is mostly because they're a speedy build, which will be built upon. The secondary genome contributor is the Portia spider, which is a type of jumping spider. It will increase the hairs on the limbs to make them more sensitive to what happens in the air, and also gives it its 8-eyed structure, making the eyes more sensitive to light. Alongside their intelligence, they've been fine to create traps, actually having problem-solving abilities, while being at a very small size too. Having a very good cognitive abilities for an arthropod. And for their spatial awareness, they could actually calculate where to jump to, and actually have hairs that could detect their opponent first. So this is for general intelligence and sensory. Next is the whip spider. So the whip spider will modify the pedipalps, which are the frontal limbs of the scorpion or the spider, and will modify them to be large and use them for grappling mostly, bring them closer to jaws, or generally hooking. They'll also add biomineralization to the exoskeleton, making the exoskeleton harder for an arthropod. Alongside that, they'll add extra leg hairs to the front limb, and a special organ in the front limbs too, to be able to detect their opponent. Next is the hawk eater tarantula. So the hawk eater tarantula is here for two things. Its hairs, which could be used as weapons. This would generally stick to skin and cause massive irritation, alongside its a larger size and fangs. It'll make we won't use the fangs entirely, but we'll use them to make the jaw slightly sharper alongside its larger size, which could surpass 100 grams, but we're not bypassing that. We're keeping it to 100 grams. Next is orb weaver spider. I think you would guess, the strong silk. Yeah, what else? Other than that, the silk will also be venomous, as in the orb weaver spider and some species have been found to have some neurotoxins in the silk. So if any larger opponent tries to fly at V1 arachnid, they would probably be stuck in the very strong web. Usually desert spiders have webs that are multiple webs stacked onto each other, which is actually more deadly than normal webs. So yeah, and expect that with some neurotoxins. Next is Darner, the non-spider contributors now. First is Darner dragonfly. It's here for like two things. One, a frontal lobe of its brain that is used for movement. They use this part to mostly track motion in its opponents, and they've been found to actually predict their opponent's movement. On that, we're using its compound eyes in 1d8 eyes. The compound eyes will be used for mostly 360-degree vision and very high perception. And this would be used to help it detect its opponent's movement or detect anything that's trying to catch it. So i.e. a bird or something. And this also has very good depth perception too. So yeah, second trigger, Blackfire Beetle. So Blackfire Beetle will contribute one to the other eyes, which has a very good light motion detection. Basically, it makes our hybrid be able to see way slower than other hybrids, so this would be able to help its reaction speed. So the Blackfire Beetle, it also gives its very strong respiratory system. Beetles among arthropods have very strong spiracles. So arachnids do not have spiracles, but there's been arthropods with both gills and spiracles, i.e. some crabs. So this is really out of the options. So this would help our arthropod being able to have consistent and large amounts of oxygen in the body, alongside having instant oxygen in the body, helping the limbs move faster due to having higher amounts of fuel. Also, it gives its olfactory senses better smell, better detection, and it can also see heat too. Very fun thing. Probably good in the desert, probably. Deathstalker scorpion. Scorpions have a longer midsection from what I see. Not really, but other than that, it's just a tangent. We're using its venom, which would bypass a lot of the immune systems in smaller hybrids. Opossum, shrew, and what else you throw at it. Alongside, we're taking its tail. It's kind of obvious. This would also be mixed into other structures that are venomous, i.e. the silk, and potentially later on. Next is pseudoscorpion. So this is a cave pseudoscorpion. In the dog, I haven't mentioned what type of scorpion this is, but this is a pseudoscorpion, the cave pseudoscorpion, and this will be used to add venom to the pedipalps. So the pedipalps of the whip scorpion will be modified to have Deathstalker scorpion venom on it, which would make it extremely deadly once attacked. Next is coconut crab. It modifies one of the first limbs of the scorpion to be very strong, to be thicker and stronger. Basically, this limb would be able to be used as something to stab at, or it may be used to launch your body, similar to a skull crawler or what else. Next is, this is also modifies the book lungs in the scorpion to be way more, the spider to be way more robust, allowing them to support the weight better. Alongside that, we're also using its claws, which will be modified to the mouth here to make the mouth way stronger. Proportionally, this would be very good, since coconut crabs would have around 3,300 newtons of force on one single claw at around just a few kilograms. Downscaling it, I wouldn't really doubt this would be very deadly to most hybrids, most definitely punching above its own weight class. Next is the desert locust, chosen over other locusts and grasshoppers for congruity reasons. We're also taking its elastic resilient in the limbs, and maybe in the body too. This would help the exoskeleton actually bend and warp a bit. But the main thing is that it is extra springy. That's why grasshoppers could jump so high. And we're putting into all the limbs, so making the limbs be able to jump better, alongside the limbs being able to launch the body while running. Alongside that, we're taking its hind limbs too. So the last contributor will help the hybrid get an extra pair of limbs. And that pair of limbs would be just this singular leg here. Alongside that, we're taking its lipid stores and its muscles, which efficiently converts oxygen. And desert locusts have been found to fly for days on end. So this would help the stamina. So this spider could move at very high speeds at very steady pace. The final contributor is the mantis shrimp. So the mantis shrimp, we're using both a spearer and clubber mantis shrimps. I do not know if this is allowed, but I consider them one singular species, unless you're gonna call me out on that. So we're modifying the pedipalps into spearers. So this would have the latch mechanism of the mantis shrimp. We're using the mechanism in the clubbers to make them slightly stronger, not as strong, since piercers aren't supposed to be as robust as clubbers. So yeah, being able to apply a bit more force. Other than that, we're adding the bologan structure found in the claws onto the limbs to make them way stronger and be able to deal out more damage without taking that much damage back in return. Other than that, we're taking we're getting extra limbs from the mantis. This is the only contributor that has more than 8 pairs of limbs. So this won't increase bodily section. I don't think one extra limb would be that hard on an arachnid. And we're changing one of the spider's eyes into these eyes of the mantis shrimp. What's so great about them, they have very good color vision, And they also have very good depth perception too, since these eyes have trinocular vision on each eye. So this would allow V1 arachnid to have very good depth perception and be able to detect its opponent very easily. This would mix very well with all the other eyes, the spider eyes, the beetle eyes, and the dragonfly eyes, since arachnids and arthropods in general have very simple body plans, and they easily adapt to these information changes. So yeah, this is basically the genome. So the main weapons would be mostly the front limbs, and oh yeah, I forgot the Locust would add like, if you see Locust, they should have like small claws over here. I played with they also add like these spikes onto the limbs too. This would basically allow them to hook onto stuff better. So yeah, you can see like dragonflies also have them. So yeah, these are, or even like the beetles too, these are like small hooks that show up at the end of the limbs to help them grab into their opponents better. Or at least increase surface on the ground, which would still help in running. So yeah, the general strategy is envenomate. It has 2 ways to envenomate: the pedipalps and the tail, and also the silk. It also uses its limbs to attack the opponent. You can see the more robust forelimbs here, and there's also the very strong jaw here, which is the jaw has like the strength of a coconut crab. This scales well down, and also I could just use the stronger exoskeleton to justify how strong it is. And it'll have a bunch of bristle hairs around the body, which will deter opponents, and these would also be used for sensory reasons. Very smart for an arthropod too, since this could predict its opponent and have very good reasoning skills for an arthropod. So yeah, I would expect this to run around 20 miles an hour, considering how oxygenated its body is and how much it could exert, along with the Locust DNA and how its limbs would work, I guess. So yeah, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this would contribute longer legs proportionally. Very good. Maybe orb weaver spider too, they have pretty long legs. But yeah, this is basically a basic idea for V1 arachnid. I would make a shorter video next time. This is just maybe yeah, join the Discord server in the description too. I'm making a show, it's called Mrill. Hop on sometime. We're gonna release an episode around May, and we might actually send this over to Netflix, Amazon, or some other service to see if they want to make the show or not. We have connections to that. So yeah,